Quick review from last week. On chapter 3, we started last week, chapter 3, System of Linear Equations and Inequalities. And last week we worked a lot on solving a system of linear equations by graphing. And we have a few examples here. We have 3 examples. Each one is a different case. We remember we have 3 cases, 3 possible situations. To work this out, I will use the graphing calculator. Just let me move this a little bit, like this, okay, and now I can see much better. Okay, first case, let's check this one. And instead of f of x, you can use y, you can write y. Actually, you can use both. You can write here f of x, or you can write y. You're going to have the same answer. Let's use y, just to make it faster. Y here and y here. Y equals 1. So type on the first line, the first equation. We have the first equation is y equals 1. Enter. And the next equation is y equals -3 x plus 4. -3x plus 4. Check if it is right. Oh, great. Now see the graph. Let's put some colors. That makes it easier to visualize with colors. And we have the green, the blue, and the red. The answer for this case here, this is the first case, the case where the graphs cross in one point. And the answer is going to be this intersection point here, which we will be able to read 1 and 1. So the answer here is parenthesis 1, comma 1. This is how we'll answer the first case, the first situation. Okay? This is a review from last week. 1, comma 1. Next situation, let's check here, this next system of equations. So delete, and type the new equations here. Let me clean this up. Okay. And then the new equations are 2y equals 2x. And enter. And the next one, -x plus y equals -3. And enter. And check the graph. And now we're going to have the graph as 2 lines, one by the side of the other, and they are parallel. They don't touch, they don't cross one another. That means they don't have one common point. They don't have an intersection. When we have this case, this situation here, when we don't have any intersection, this will be a no solution case. This is no solution, right? And this is the second case where we're going to have no solution. And the third possible case, we have here an example. Let's type y equals 1 over 2 times x plus 1, and enter. And the next equation is x minus 2y equals -2. Oops, no, something wrong. Plus 1, that's it, plus 1. Enter. The next equation, x minus 2y equals -2. Enter. And now we check the graph and we're going to find only one line. There's only one line. How can we find any answer if you have only one line? Well, let me put some colors here. Check this. We have the blue line and the red line. The red line is here, the blue line is here. They actually are on the same spot, on the same place, the one line on top of the other. They are the same line. And when we have this kind of situation, that means we will have infinite solutions. The intersection is going to be the whole line, all the points, and we will have infinite solutions. This is a quick review from last week. We have this, we learned how to use the graphing to solve system of equations. Today we will start a new method. We will learn how to apply a different method to solve system of linear equations. We're going to use the substitution method. So last week we used the graphing method, and this week we're going to use the substitution method. And the first thing I have to tell about the substitution method is that no matter the methods that they use to solve an equation, a system of equations, the solution will always going to be the same. It's not possible to have one solution if you apply the graphing method and another solution if you apply the substitution method, okay? The solution is always going to be the same solution, no matter the method that they use. Today we will just focus, we will just work on the first step of the substitution method. We're not going to complete, we will not find the whole solution. We will just work on the first step. Tomorrow we're going to work on the second step, and after tomorrow the third step to find the solution. Okay, so we will have 3 steps, and we will work very slowly on each step every day. The first step in the substitution process is to isolate one of the variables from one of the equations. So let's see this example. Consider the system, and we have one equation here, x plus y equals 16, and another equation here, x minus y equals 4. Get the first one, first equation, x plus y equals 16. And let's isolate one of the variables and find we're going to find the value, the expression that represents this variable. To isolate, we're going to keep only y on the left hand side, okay? We'll keep only y on the left hand side, and everything else is going to move to the right hand side. How we do this? Apply addition property, subtract x on both sides, then we get rid of this x, and we will have y equals negative x plus 16. This is how we work, how we do the first step. Step number 1. Isolate one variable on the left hand side and move everything else that's not this variable on the right hand side of the equation. The other steps, just to let you know, because we're going to see this tomorrow and after tomorrow, the procedure to solve the system of equations by using substitution method is this first step, isolate one of the variables. The second step that we're going to see tomorrow, substitute the quantity found in step 1 into the other equation. And the third step, we're going to see after tomorrow, solve the resulting equation. And here you're going to find the solution, the answer that you're looking for. Example. Check another example. And here I will work out only the first step, okay? Step 1. Only step 1. Solve the system by using the substitution method. So get the first equation, 3x minus 2y equals negative 7. And now you will isolate one of the variables. We're going to isolate y. Isolate y on the left hand side of the equation. Right? So isolate y. How do we do this? We use addition property and move everything else to the right hand side. So subtract negative 3x on both sides. So if we subtract here, then we're going to have negative 2y equals negative 3x minus 7. Now we still have this negative 2 here that we don't want. So divide both sides by negative 2. Divide both sides by negative 2. And we will have negative 2 divided by negative 2, 1. Y equals negative 3 divided by negative 2, 3 over 2, x. And negative 7 divided by negative 2, negative is negative positive, 7 divided by 2. This is going to be the first step, the result for the first step of the substitution method. We isolated, we found the equivalent equation for y. Okay? And this is what we will work today on the quiz. Only the first step. Any questions? If you have any questions, let me know now. If you don't have questions and you think we're ready to work on the quiz, let's move to the quiz. So let's work on the quiz. And let's apply this first step on our quiz. But before, let's try to solve the bell work. The bell work is this. And read, try to understand, and you will be able to answer with very little calculation, very little math operations here. Ted grows melons to sell in the farmer's market. Last time he sold half the amount he brought, plus half a melon, and was left with 2 melons. Two melons were unsold. What was the total amount he brought to the market? So you have to read and understand. We can say X is the number of melons that he brought, okay? And then he sold half. At this point here, when he sold half, we know that he sold half of the melons, right? 1 over X. Oh, sorry. 1 over 2, half over 2x. And we need to know how many is going to be 1/2 of x. Well, 1/2 of x is going to be 2 melons plus what? Plus half a melon. Plus half. Because he sold half plus half a melon. The other half is going to be these 2 melons plus this half a melon. And if this is going to be 2.5, right? 2.5. To find out x, you're going to multiply by 2 both sides of the equation. X equals 2 times 2.5. 5. 5 is going to be the right answer. So 5 is the right answer. Julian, Adrian, and Maddie, and yeah, you got the right answer. You got the right answer. Adrian is the first one here. 5. 5 is going to be the right answer. But thank you, very close, Anjali, Kalia, Jermaine. The objective is not to get the right answer or the wrong answer, is to participate, to get ready for the quiz. Jacob, very close, Ewell, Noelia, and Cynthia. The right answer is going to be 5 melons. 5 melons. 5 melons. Now I think we are ready to work on the quiz. Moving on. On the quiz is going to be here, right? There's one practice. I'm suggesting you to practice this for as a review of how to solve system of linear equations by graphing. This is a Khan Academy. You can check yes here and you complete this later. Just check yes and then you complete later. The practice is this one. I think it's pretty cool. Check this out. You can move and you have a system of linear equations and you can represent each one on the graph. Let's say this one here, y equals negative 5x plus 6. Then you move this point to the y-intercept. The y-intercept is going to be 6. right? Positive 6, here, the y-intercept. And the next point, you can move according to the slope. The slope is negative 5 over 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5 is going down. And this is the first graph. And do the same thing on the next one, the next graph. Let's say negative 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to find out the right answer. The right answer here. When you type 1 and 1, it's going to be the right answer. Practice is a good practice. I think it's cool. It's kind of a good way of remembering what we've done last week. And after you finish, after you finish, sorry. You can do this later. Now we're going to work on this part here. Is today's topic. Rewrite the first equation of each system using the equivalent slope-intersect form, y equals mx plus b, and use fractions, not decimals, when necessary. This is the first step, only the first step that we're going to work today, okay? And check the first one. Let me work letter A here as an example. So letter A. Get the first equation. The first is this one. 3x plus y equals negative 1. And change it to make it look like the slope-intersect form. Move everything to the right-hand side and keep only y on the left-hand side. Okay? You're going to keep only y on the left-hand side. So move 3x to the right-hand side. You're going to do this by subtracting 3x on both sides. And you're going to keep the y on the left-hand side. And you will have 3x, negative 3x minus 1. This is the answer for letter A. That's what you're going to do. That's what we will do in all the questions, all the other questions. Get the first equation and change and make it look like the slope-intersect form by isolating y on the left-hand side. Okay? You don't need to in these questions here, you don't need to solve yet. You don't need to solve it yet. We're not using this, not using the graphing calculator. You're going to use the substitution method. For the answer for the question is just this. The first step is just this equation here, okay? And tomorrow we're going to work on step number 2, and after tomorrow, step number 3, we're going to find the answer. Yeah, I know you found the answer for the first equation. I just want to do this step by step by applying the substitution method. We're not going to use the graphing method this week. We're going to use the substitution method. We're going to do everything by working out, by calculating. We're not using the graph. Okay. So the first step is this: to find this equation here. Tomorrow we're going to work out the second step, and after tomorrow the third step. Maybe you already know how to use the substitution method, how to find the answers, and that's fine, that's great, that's excellent. Okay, but on this quiz here, you're not supposed to answer to type the final answer yet. We will have this chance on after tomorrow.